Nice to meet you all. I'm Cosette Conrad. I am the affiliate director for ACE Mentor Program of Baltimore. I know some of you have probably been involved in other ACE affiliates in the past. I've gotten a lot of folks reaching out to me saying they did this in a former city. Everywhere does it a little bit differently. So we'll talk a little bit about how we run our ACE Mentor program, how easy and incredibly rewarding it is to be a mentor, and help get you signed up so that we can get rolling as we start in January. So just a quick introduction to our board of directors. This is our current board slate. As you can see, all these wonderful shining faces here. Some are on the call today as well. We have some really good representation across different industries and backgrounds, experiences of people who have been in Baltimore forever, people who are newer to Baltimore, so
Yeah, no,
lots of, sorry about that, we have some feedback. So lots of great expertise leading the way here on our board, including our executive committee. So I just wanted to highlight these folks in particular because you will most likely be hearing from at least one or all of us. So again, I'm Cosette. I work for the Maryland Center for Construction Education and Innovation as my full-time job. I am the affiliate director here at ACE and the director of outreach there at MCCEI. Our president of the board is Jeff Cooper from Whiting Turner. Our vice president is Tanya, CapEx Advisory. She's joined us here today. Treasurer is Tig, also with Whiting Turner, and our secretary is Paige Sheehan. She is partner of her own studio. No relation between the two Sheehan's. Coincidence, we've got two Sheehan's on our executive committee, but this group of folks here, we help develop all of the programming information that we'll be sharing later on. So if you have any questions about when or why or how we do any of our programming, our fundraising, our corporate sponsorship, anything really high level, anyone on this group can help you with that. Okay, so let's get into it. So the ACE is an after-school activity for the most part. Small caveat, a couple of them we do during the school day, but for the most part, it is an after-school activity for high school students in Baltimore City, Baltimore County. We're also in Howard County, and we can kind of touch a little bit to the surrounding Baltimore area, Hartford. There is an Annapolis affiliate, a DC affiliate, and a Frederick affiliate, as well as Eastern Shore. So Maryland has a lot of representation with the ACE Mentor program. Again, I'm here specifically for the Baltimore affiliate. So we sort of reach out to Howard County and a little bit around the greater Baltimore area, and everything encompasses there. So we have mentors go into these schools that you see listed here. For one meeting per week, usually. It's approximately a 2-hour meeting once a week, and that is only through from late January to early May. So it's about 13 weeks, 13 to 15 on average, depending on the school schedule. So it's just 13 meetings. And if you have to miss a couple here or there, work, travel, sickness, things like that, we make sure that we plan to have enough mentors that we always have coverage. So you see this huge list of schools. We want to have a really good ratio of mentors to students at each school. And so the number of mentors assigned to each school does vary based on how many students are in that program and how many capacity we have with our school champion. So some teams can be, 5 students and they can have 2 or 3 mentors. I do like to have minimum of 3 mentors in each team, again, because of flexibility if someone can't show up. Some teams have like 40 students and 12 mentors. So it really does fall in a large range there. And so with this huge list, obviously we need a lot of mentors to be able to support every student at all of these schools. So those that are highlighted in yellow at the bottom are what I'm calling the highest need for mentors, simply because they are new or returning from the past to ACE this year. So they did not have established mentor groups in the last calendar year or 2 or ever. So these are the areas that we're really trying to build up. If you see a school listed here that is somewhere near where you live or work, perhaps you went to that school or your children go to that school or your neighbors or anything like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love, it would be so easy. I live across the street from Digital Harbor High School. I'd love to be able to just pop in there once a week. It's already on my commute home. Please feel free to specify that with me. We want to make this as easy as possible for you all to access those schools. Do I have any questions? I'm going to pause here since I just dumped a lot of information on everyone about how the program works, what the time commitment is, and where we're located.
You want to, because do you want to touch base, just for touch point, on where that is? That's obviously it's new, as Cosette says, but it's located in the Madama Mall. It's a Whiting Turner, kind of brainchild, more of a Tim Regan, the president of, and there's a lot of, during and after school activities hosted at Touch Point. And they have a great space that, ACE is going into.
Yes,
Add to
thank you,
that.
Tanya. Yeah, I should have clarified that as well. So I did say schools. Two of these on this list you'll notice are not schools. One is the Howard County Public Library. We started that last year because there were some waiver paperwork, red tape issues with getting into the individual schools. And so we pivoted and we were innovative and we said, let's use a public space. And so we have students from multiple schools are able to convene there and have a team at the library. And spoiler alert, they actually won the entire competition last year. And my theory is that it's because that functioned a lot more like a real workplace. It's not just like in your classroom. They had to go to a separate location, work with people that they maybe didn't know already. So they did a really good job. They came in really strong for their first year. So we're replicating that with this touchpoint space to provide another like a public access third space, if you will, in Baltimore City. As Tanya said, Touchpoint is in the Mondawmin Mall. They are in the process of moving. I have to check on exactly what the location is, but from their current location in one of the storefronts to the old Target, if you're familiar, and it's like a Baltimore history, the old Target in Mondawmin Mall, it's a larger space for Touchpoint. They run programs. The one I think most people know about is Thread, for Baltimore City, students and residents. So they already have some really great community ties, a lot of really wonderful volunteers who work there, helping with other programs, and they are thrilled to include ACE. And so yeah, it's a really nice space. Tanya and I got to tour it last, gosh, I guess it was in the summer now.
Yeah.
To check out what the space looks like, and they have really good accommodations for that team. So that would be, let's say it's right across the street from Frederick Douglass High School. So perhaps some students may want to literally walk over from there, or students who want to take public transportation from other areas of the city can very easily access it. So it's a really good central location to get there by public transit. The city high schools, for the most part, are using public transit already for their buses. So it works out really well to get the students there and get the mentors there as well. I see a question in the chat here. For the meetings, is it best to be in person or attend? Are there options to do Zoom as needed? Okay, great question. We do ask everyone to go in person. However, if you wanted to, if you couldn't physically be there and you wanted to weigh in, we can absolutely accommodate having a mentor join via Zoom on like a one-off occasion. If it was something where you're like, oh, I'm out of town, but I really, really want to be able to talk to my ACE students about this topic today. We could definitely work with the teams to make those accommodations. But for the most part, yes, we do ask everyone to attend all of the meetings in person. It's obviously part of the amazing feeling of working at ACE is getting to know these students and being in the class with them and just getting close with them and the school champions and building those relationships and network. We did continue operating through the pandemic and it was extremely difficult. We did it. It was great, but we are thrilled to be back in person. All right. So moving on in the same vein as going in person, I just kind of have some highlights of mentor responsibility. We do have a Q&A document that I will share after this that goes into more detail. But again, I just kind of picked the big highlights of what it will look like and what you'll be doing. And I would love any of our folks who have mentored or currently mentor who are on this call from our board to share a little more insight here as well. So brief overview of what you'll do. If you work in architecture, construction, engineering, or anything related to those fields, facilities management, or if you are on the owner side, procurement, anything at all whatsoever like that. Those are the folks that we want in the classroom to teach about the real world experience that they have in their careers. So first of all, the students will learn about all of those disciplines, the roles that each of those folks would play in a design, construction, every phase of a project, again, goes on through maintenance and life cycle of the building. So if you play a role in a building being built at all or being maintained, you are the perfect person to be an ACE mentor. And I think everyone on this call does. So the students will go through all of these topics, and that is from some materials that we have very carefully curated. They are like perfectly built lesson plans. We actually have had people from my full-time organization, MCCEI. We have had people who have never officially worked in the industry step in and be an ACE mentor when we were low. And it was like nothing, just look at the plans right before you go in. This is, oh, great, wonderful, reminding myself what it is to make a project schedule, and you can teach right off of it. We make it as easy as possible. Everything is signed, sealed, delivered. Of course, we also lean on your expertise. Now, the presentation portion that you would give to the students is relatively short. I think people have reported maybe around 45 minutes or so of the 2-hour session is you teaching about the topic. The rest of it is the second bullet point here. The team will develop their building design in response to an RFP that we have put together. And I'll give you a little highlight of that RFP later on in this presentation here. They are as realistic as possible. So these students are exposed to what an RFP looks like and how to look at those requirements and design something in response. This one is for a community center. So there's a little bit of creativity and open-endedness with what they can include in their community center. And there's some other things that we're a little more like, oh, you must include these certain bits of the scope. So again, that's a little teaser. We'll talk about it later. After about 13 to 15 meetings, again, depending on the school schedule, the teams present their final designs to be judged and awarded. So the final presentation of the design, which the students may have done using SketchUp or Revit, AutoCAD, whatever they have available to them, they will probably have hand drawings they will put in there. Any inspiration, mood boards, anything like that, they put into this final presentation, and they actually make it into a video where they describe their process to us as the judge panel, where we play the client, and we actually judge those virtually for equity purposes, and then we have an in-person award ceremony for that. I see Jen has her hand up.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear Jen okay or no? Okay.
I just wanted to reiterate what Cosette was saying about the ease of use. Tanya and the program team have done such an amazing job. I haven't been on a construction project myself, like working in the field since like 2015. And I was able to help lead a team and go through, like, you do not be intimidated by the idea of teaching any of this to high school students. One, the students are there because they want to be there. So it's not like just walking into a regular high school classroom where some of the kids are there because they have to be there. These students are choosing to come, so they're very excited about participating, and it's very easy. And the awesome part is that when you're on a team, you're not there by yourself. You can divide and conquer the whole list. That's what we did in the beginning of the year. Is we looked at the list, we said who's on our team, And if there were any gaps, you can also bring in guest speakers for the
Mhm.
day. So that's where you rely on your industry contacts, or you ask Cosette, say, hey, like, the team, there's this one topic, we're talking about sustainability, right? And nobody on the team really feels comfortable talking about that. Do you have a guest speaker that you can help bring in? And that's where, this entire amazing organization that we're a part of, we help each other out. It was really the best thing. I did it during COVID, virtual, like Cosette, and Tanya had said wasn't the best. That we went the entire year not knowing what any of the students looked like because nobody put their camera on. It wasn't until the end that we actually saw their faces because they were presenting. So definitely in person is the way to go if you can make it work.
Thank you, Jen. Yes, Jen was who I was referencing that was like, gosh, I don't remember how to do all of this. Oh, wait, you made it so easy. So yay for that. Any other questions about or comments, I should say, as well, about the commitment and the responsibilities, expectations?
Yeah, if I could comment, Cosette,
Of course, yeah.
um, mentoring, it is a commitment, but I'm telling you, it's a very easy commitment. Once you get started, you realize that the students really do want to be there and they want to learn from you. Um, and you'll find that once you've done it for 1 year, you'll want to do it again for the next year because often, 3/4 of those kids come back because they haven't graduated yet. And so I've been doing it at the same school for maybe 3 years now, and it's really a pleasure to see the youngest ones in the group come back and do it right on up through their senior year. So again, it's a commitment, but it really is the simplest commitment that you can make. It's just time, spending some time with some high school kids and a couple hours a week really seems to be relatively simple from my perspective.
Yeah, thank you for that perspective, Tig. And I do think that there's something to be said about imparting the wisdom that you've worked so hard to gain in your career onto the people who are going to follow in your footsteps. Every time that I work at any kind of student-facing program, which is a lot, that's what I do full time. Like it is just the most rewarding, like warm, fuzzy feeling. To make those connections and to see their eyes light up when they go into it thinking, I definitely want to be an interior designer. I love interior design. Here's my Pinterest board. And then by the end of the program, they're like, actually, I think I might be an MEP engineer. Like, I didn't know this existed and I loved it. And I realized I'm really good at math and I enjoy this specific type of work and style of thinking. And watching them shape their career paths and maybe change their minds even because you open their eyes to the reality of what it is to work in these industries. I mean, it's incredible. One thing that I did not include in this presentation that is another really, really rewarding part of working at ACE is that we give out scholarships. So we have been giving out $25,000 worth of scholarships every year. Our goal each year is to try and increase that, which is also where TIG comes in, helping with our fundraising and corporate sponsorships. But we are able to help fund directly a handful of students every year as they're pursuing their career in the industry. The scholarships go to students who are enrolling in some type of program, whether it's a four-year degree or a trade school, whatever it may be in the industry, architecture, construction, engineering, anything in the built environment. If they're going down that pathway, they qualify and they're eligible to apply for the scholarship. So that is also like just the best thing about this program is seeing these students like the biggest winner last year, the Key Scholarship winner, like, her parents were tearing up and it was an incredible thing to witness. So it's all around good. There's no cons, all pros, no cons. All right, so I know I teased this a bit earlier, but our programming, the way that we are working on our programming is we're going to have 4 sets of projects so that we will cycle through. And that way, no student is doing the same program twice. So it's always new to those folks. If they start their freshman year, they have a different thing all 4 years. So last year they designed a food hall inspired by the redeveloped Lexington Market in downtown Baltimore, the Cross Street Market, Broadway Market, all of those. So in that one, they got to choose their site and had some flexibility there. And then there were some sort of stricter requirements on what needed to be included in the food hall. Before that, we've done nature center, a vet clinic. During COVID, we actually did a tiny home because that was something on a smaller scale that was easier to do with the virtual programming. And this year, like I said, we're doing a community center. The community center will be located in the new Baltimore Peninsula in South Baltimore. So I'm sure everybody here is familiar because this has been the only thing in the news if you live in and around Baltimore for the past several years. But there are several spaces across the Baltimore Peninsula that are either undeveloped or still, kind of under development currently, or yeah, they're just empty lots. So see these photos here show one of the construction sites as well as one of the completed spaces. We will be using this parcel E3 that's highlighted on this map. We are working with the MAG partners who are the developer for this project, and they are on board to support our students and our mentors with any field trips, site tours, go out and take photos, touch and feel the space realistically. They are committed to helping us with that, which is incredible, as well as several other partners who have been working in and around this project space for a while. So in this instance, we have a site that we have dedicated, and then within the RFP, there's a little bit of creative space. And speaking of which, these are the mentor resources that we've been discussing. So on the left there is the cover page of our RFP. And then along with that, we provide this mentor toolkit. I just put a snippet of the first page here. So it tells you, okay, week 1, do introductions. I know this text is probably really small for everybody to read, but we've got some icebreaker examples. We've got an overview of what you really should be focusing on for the first week, as well as a list of all kinds of helpful links, including an inspiration, some precedents that they can look at to start thinking about what is a community center. Does anybody have any questions? Or yeah, Tanya, you have a comment?
I'll just say thanks,
Yeah.
so the program, it's try to be prescriptive in a sense that defines it's a community center, suggested square footage, and here's some, the program should at least include the lobby and meeting spaces, kitchenettes or what have you. So it basically gives you kind of a prescription of like the minimum, and then the kids can expand it. So we try to create some guidelines. We've learned from the past, if it's too open-ended, it gets a little overwhelming. So we've tried to scale it down. There are some kids, groups, schools that have been doing this forever, and they're a machine, and they'll just want to, really explode it and do something bigger. But all the teams are, the way that we review and quote unquote judge is, just try to pick out the elements that were really successful and not say, some schools just have the more resources than others. So we try to keep an even playing field. And also we try to give the kids some creativity, inspiration, like who's their client, who are they working for? They could be the MAG developers, or they could make up their own name. We did that with the past projects, and they came up with these crazy names, which was, just part of the fun. So they can kind of put their signature on it. So there's a lot of playfulness in it, but yet a lot of guidance, a lot of links for precedents and ideas. So it really helps direct the process. And it's very collaborative, just like in a working place. We suggest maybe teams get together, you have a group focused on architecture or landscape or mechanical, so it can be broken down into smaller pieces. So it can be overwhelming if you have a big group, or you just don't know where to go, you can assign, okay, people that are interested in just basically the architecture, or like Cosette's saying, some people are just interiors. It kind of gives you suggestions on helping guide the kids to make it fun, and they can focus on what they're really interested in.
Yes, exactly. So I think that we have struck the perfect balance between those structure and guidelines, and allowing that creative space. Again, very much like a realistic RFP. You still have room for creativity to come up with your own design, but there are things that you have to do. I should also share that, as Tanya mentioned, for the presentations, we pick an overall winner. That's sort of like the big winner of the night. But we actually find that it's very difficult to do that. So every team has always ended up with a best in something. So best in sustainability, best in their interior design, best in their community considerations. There's always a shining star of each team where we're like, wow, they really nailed that one aspect of the project. So everyone gets rewarded for their hard work. Everyone gets to go stand up on the stage and get their certificate of completion for the year and get their moment in the sun and some pictures taken. And we do a whole celebration around it. So every single student and mentor is celebrated for the hard work that you've all done throughout the program year. There is just one that's picked as the overall winner for the day. But again, everyone really is a winner. And it's not like a participation trophy. It is truly like, we sat down and judged the presentations last year, and I said, I have no clue who wins. They're
This hard.
all really, really, really good. It's impressive. I mean, I've worked in the industry for 6 years now, and I was like, these look like professionals. Some of these designs are truly professional. So it is awe-inspiring to see that.
I will add, it's I think we have in the toolkit some snippets, examples of the end of year presentations. So, and that you can share with the kids, the students, I should say, so they have an idea of what the end results should be, and you do too. I think those are really helpful, because it is overwhelming, like, what's our end product? But you just kind of build on it all year long. So
Yeah,
that's in the
absolutely.
toolkit.
Any questions about the programming, the resources? We provide them all for you, basically, all spelled out. And we're here to answer questions at any point throughout the year. Awesome. All right, so very exciting news. We were able to confirm some sign-up bonus situations. So we have 2 separate bonuses. I'm going to talk about the giveaway first. Our wonderful sponsors, Paige, who is on our board with Sheehan Walker Studios, they are donating some prize money for us to be able to give to 3 winners. We'll each get $100. The first one is whichever returning mentor who has worked with ACE in the past recruits the most new folks and gets them registered by January 10th. So if you're on this call because a current ACE mentor referred you to do so, just after you register, because you will, send me their name or have them contact me and say, hey, I recommended this person, and I'm keeping a running list of those folks who are recruited from current mentors, and whoever has the most who have registered by January 10th will automatically get a $100 prize. The other 2 prizes, one is we're raffling off to a returning mentor, and one will be raffling off to a new mentor, which most of you on this call will be new mentors. So you will automatically be in the running. All you have to do is register. Anybody in the system by January 10th automatically is in the running for this prize to get $100. So, I mean, what better time to sign up, right? The other thing we're doing is if your company is interested in being a sponsor of the ACE Mentor program, I can send the corporate sponsorship packet. But essentially, whatever company provides the most mentors, new, returning, whoever it might be, just I'm going to look in our database and look at where you noted your company, and whichever one of those companies has the most people signed up, their recognition as a sponsor will automatically be at the next highest level. So if they're not already actually signed on as a sponsor, they will get recognition at our entry level. And if they are already somewhere in the lines, they'll get the benefits of the next level up, if that makes sense. So we're considering it as sort of an in-kind gift to prop them up into that next sphere. So also talk to your companies if they're interested in sponsoring. Well, that is all of the formal information that I have for you all today. I put my contact information here. It's baltimoremd@acementor.org. You can go ahead and register now, acementorbaltimore.org. I will send that around after this as well. Follow us on social media. Our LinkedIn page is very active. We have a lot of good posts going out there and engagement from our current and past mentors on LinkedIn as well. So it's a good place to have those conversations and check in on updates. And does anybody have any other questions, comments, thoughts? Ready to sign up?
Really appreciate everyone taking their time today to learn about it.
Yeah, and thank you all so much for being here. Like I said, we're recording this, so if you have colleagues who are interested or who you think, gosh, you know, so-and-so would be a great mentor, you can share this recording with them as well. I'll get it out today. And looking forward to seeing you all in the system by January 10th. I want to reiterate that because we're adding those new schools, we need about 40 new mentors to sign up between now and January 20th. So please, you know, take a real consideration, share with your friends, and I'll see you at the kickoff meetings that we'll be doing in mid-January. All right. Thank you all. I'm seeing all these chats about people signing up. Incredible. All right. Well, thank you all. I will leave you be. Go enjoy the rest of your lunch hour, and we'll talk to you soon. Feel free to reach out. Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
day.
Thanks, Cosette.
Yeah. Bye.